My name is Tiffany Cossey. I'm one of the representatives of the 5th Ward of the Carthage City Council. I'm making this video in response to the press conference held by Mayor Rife earlier today. So I wish that I could say that this was an April Fool's joke by our mayor, since it was held on April 1st, but it wasn't. I'm very disappointed in our mayor because what this was just one more incident in a long line of bad behavior that our mayor has displayed over the last year. In this press conference that he held, the mayor accused me of several things, some of which are accurate but taken out of context, some of which are just flat wrong. So the first thing that the mayor mentions is that he sent a letter to me asking for information about employees and and the allegations that they have made about misconduct that has been conducted against them. And so it's true, he did send a letter to me on Thursday shortly after noon. But what the mayor forgets is that some of us have jobs, and so we aren't available to drop everything at his whim and read the letter immediately. And so I was in appointments all day until after 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock was the first time I had an opportunity to review this letter. And after I reviewed it, I knew that I wanted to take my time in composing a response and that I wanted to consult with my attorney. Most of you know, if you've been following city occurrences, that I've been targeted and I have been harassed by the city over the last few months. And so it's extremely important to me to run everything by my attorney. Well, the problem is that the mayor gave an extremely short deadline. He wanted a response by 5 p.m. on Good Friday. So as most of you know, in Southwest Missouri, Good Friday is a religious holiday, and it's not considered to be a normal business day. So the first business day I would have had the opportunity to speak to my attorney would be today, Monday. And the mayor has a very bad habit of giving extremely short timelines for people to respond. And I would assume that he does that because he wants it to look, he either wants people to not have an adequate time to form a good response, or he wants to make them look bad if they take their time to deliver an informed response, which I think is the case here. Especially given the fact that the mayor, instead of contacting me when he didn't get a response by the deadline, instead of reaching out to me to find out how we can work together to make things better for our employees, he instead holds a press conference. Does that seem to you like somebody who has the best interest of our employees at heart? I doubt it. The mayor has my phone number, as does the rest of the city. It's published on the city website because I'm a city council representative. He could have reached out to me to ask why he didn't get a response. Instead, he contacts members of the press so that he can make allegations against me. That's not appropriate. So in this letter, the mayor asked for details on employees and the allegations that they had made. First, let me make it perfectly clear that when somebody comes to me in confidence, I am not going to disclose their name, nor am I going to disclose what allegedly happened unless I have permission from the person to do so. So the incidents that I mentioned in City Council, I had permission to disclose, although I did not have permission to disclose most of the names. And so, responding to the mayor's letter, you will see I am making a letter public. That was the letter that I had drafted and had intended to send on to him later today. And you will see that I say exactly that. I'm not disclosing that information, especially because the city employees and the people in the city who are not employees are not actually covered appropriately. There is a whistleblower policy in the personnel policy manual. However, the person at the top echelon that they can report to is someone who is either accused of misconduct themselves or is under the direct supervision of someone who is accused of misconduct. Either way, it is not appropriate to ask someone to report to one of those two people. So, in that case, I encourage people to report to a trusted city council member so that things could be investigated appropriately. Now, the mayor has said that he would like to have an independent investigator, and I think that's a fantastic idea. I think that either the city council or an independent investigator should be used. However, what the mayor fails to take into consideration is he does not have the power to do this unilaterally. He has to get permission from the city council to hire an investigator, number one, because it's a matter of city policy, and number two, because it incurs expense of the taxpayers, and the city council has to vote on that. But whatever the city council decides to do, I am in favor of an unbiased investigation into this. But the people that are in the direct chain of reporting for the personnel will not be able to conduct an unbiased investigation. Second, the whistleblower policy does not cover anybody who is not a city employee. And I have had people who are not current city employees report incidents of bad behavior to me. The Insurance Audit and Claims Committee is working on a whistleblower policy that will cover more than just city employees. And once that's in place, I think people may feel more comfortable coming forward to share the information that they've shared with me. I would also like to say that since Tuesday's City Council meeting, I've had other people who have come forward and shared additional information. So these are not just isolated incidents. We're finding out more and more. Also, I was accused of making allegations against a specific city employee in Tuesday night City Council meeting. I would like to ask everybody to go back and review that video. The video is going to speak for itself. I asked about a city policy. I asked if it was common city policy for our police department to reach out to the employer of someone who was accused of an incident and notify that employer when the incident did not occur on company time or in company property. It was the police chief himself who admitted that he was the person who had made that contact. I did not make that accusation. Again, please go watch that video. It speaks for itself. And by the way, the employee who was accused of wrongdoing was a CWEB employee, and after the item was properly investigated, it was determined that he wasn't involved at all. But the damage had already been done. The employer had already been contacted. Now, it has been suggested that it was a matter of courtesy. It was a courtesy call for one department to reach out to the other. Still does not make it okay. And so let me check my notes here and make sure that there isn't something else that I wanted to say to my wonderful constituents out there who are watching. I do want to mention that the mayor has accused me of breaking an ethics ordinance. He didn't say which one, and the reason is because I have not broken any ethics ordinances. What he's probably going to point to is that there's a statement that our conduct should tend to preserve confidence in the city government. That is not actually a requirement. That is a suggestion. The requirements on how we are to do that is later on found in a specific ethics ordinance. But I have not broken any policy. I have not broken any ethics ordinance, and it is inappropriate of the mayor to suggest that I have. So I would like to encourage all of you to get out and vote tomorrow for the candidate that you think is going to put a stop to this kind of bad behavior and to restore faith in our city government. And to you, Mr. Mayor, I encourage you to do better.